Joe Biden released at 9:30 at night after Christmas his list of volunteer fundraisers. You know, he's marketing it like they're volunteer firemen or something. Yeah, just a list of a who's who of plutocrats raising over $25,000 for his campaign. This is the list of bundlers. And I love this because, in fairness, Obama, Hillary, these people, they actually released it in terms of tiers. Here's who's raised over 25,000. Here's who's raised over 100,000. Here's who's raised over 250,000. Here's who's raised after over a million. You get it? Whereas Buttigieg and now Biden, they're being secrety and slimy. They're just throwing everyone in the same bucket. Here's who's raised over $25,000 for me. So we don't know, honestly, until the Federal Election Commission records come out, which is until early next year. We just don't know how much is each person raising, because there's some who are probably raising hundreds of thousands of dollars, while others might have raised the paltry sum of 25,000. But let me ask you a question. Do you think people are raising money on behalf of Joe Biden just because they're so inspired by Joe? Do you think that's why they're raising money for Joe Biden? Or do you think that they're a part of this really gross, really corrupt, really slimy game of access that has been going on in Washington, D.C. as long as I've been alive, but that the Democratic Party has basically been just as bad as the Republicans on? I guarantee you, quite a few of these people raising money for Joe, oh, they're going to get ambassadorships. They're going to become ambassador to some country that they've never been to. Oh, they're going to get positions in the White House. Oh, they're going to get invited to the state dinners. Oh, they're going to get a subsidy or a tax cut or a tax abatement for their company. Oh, they're going to get that federal contract for their company. This is how it works. This is how it works. But the Democratic Party has been trying to hoodwink you for many, many years that, oh, but you have to vote for us because, yeah, we might be corrupt, but like women, you could do whatever you want with your body. We're not going to tell you what to do with your body. And like, oh, Muslims, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome here. We're not as racist and we're good on the social issues, so just look the other way as we sell out your future economically. That's been the Democratic Party for the last 30, 40 years. Read, if you got time this New Year's, if you have any time off or whatever, and if you have the money to get it, Thomas Frank wrote a great book called Listen Liberal. It is the best book I've read. It's the best thing I've read to really explain how far the Democratic Party shifted, essentially, to becoming moderate Republicans. So as the Republican Party went extreme to become these radical Trump Tea Partiers, the Democratic Party basically moved over to like being, I don't know, Bob Dole in 1996. How do you change a country if both parties are Republicans? Just one is worse. So, Joe Biden, let's take a look here. Some of his bundlers. You remember this question at a local, I think it was a town hall for Joe Biden? Let's take a look.
I'm 27 years old. Half of all greenhouse gas emissions ever generated by the entire history of human civilization have been released in my lifetime. This despite the now well-documented fact that 40 years ago, scientists at Exxon and Shell knew and reported to their bosses that burning fossil fuels was warming the planet and would destabilize the climate. Fossil fuel corporations, their executives, their trade and industry organizations, and their think tank front groups have waged a decades-long campaign of lying to the public about the science, and it has brought us to a crisis that threatens the entire human race. Now, I know that you signed the No Fossil Fuel Money Pledge, but I have to ask, how can we trust you to hold these corporations and executives accountable for their crimes against humanity when we know that tomorrow you are holding a high-dollar fundraiser hosted by Andrew Goldman, a fossil fuel executive?
He's not a fossil fuel executive, I'm told. He is not a fossil fuel executive. And the fact of the matter is that what we talk about is, what are we going to do about those corporations? What have we done? And everywhere along the way, for example, I've argued and pushed for us suing those executives who are engaged in pollution.
So, I mean, Joe Biden essentially pretended that that guy wasn't a fossil fuel executive. He was. He said, hell, I don't care where the money's coming from, just give me your money. And he held a fundraiser anyway. Well, that guy, who Joe Biden pretended wasn't a fossil fuel executive, he is, natural gas, LNG. That guy, according to the list, raised at least $25,000 for Joe Biden. So, of course, Joe Biden is going to help solve the climate crisis, which, to tell you the truth, I'm just going to start calling it the inferno. I think terms matter. I think gentrification is not a term that many people understand, so I call it economic terrorism. And I think climate change is not a term or climate crisis really puts in the urgency of it. So I'm going to start calling it the inferno. So Joe Biden is not going to do anything to stop the inferno because he's taking money from the people pouring the gasoline on the fire. He's taking money to the people putting a match into it. And frankly, Trump is unprecedentedly bad on the environment. But Joe Biden becoming president would just be a slower death of the planet, a slower moving death to the planet. Because Joe Biden isn't going to see the damage. If he's lucky, he's got another 20 years left on this planet. We're all going to deal with it. So that's one person raising money. I don't know how much he raised because Joe Biden put everyone on the list at $25,000. This guy could have raised $250,000 for him, $500,000. Who the hell knows? We don't know who is this guy getting to donate to Joe Biden, because it's not just that this guy is raising money for Joe Biden. Who is he getting to donate? I would assume other people in the fossil fuel industry that Andrew Goldman knows. So Joe Biden is a mother fracker. Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.